I'm Alison Hargreaves from Guides for Brides, and today I am joined by Jennifer Patrice, Independent Celebrant. Jennifer, please tell us a little bit about your business.
Hello, I am Jennifer Patrice, Independent Celebrant. I conduct weddings all over the world, and I'm an independent wedding celebrant.
Fantastic. And today we're talking about honouring guests that are no longer with us when we're wedding planning, something that is relevant to couples and also their guests all around the world. So diving straight in, I think the first question to ask is, how do you decide whether to go ahead with a wedding at all if a close family member dies shortly beforehand?
This is something that has come up, and it's always a conversation with the couple and their nearest family members. If they decide that they want to go ahead with it, then that's absolutely what I will do and give them the service that really honours that family member.
And very often we know it's what the family member would have wanted for them. It can make the day very difficult, but then really important to perhaps think about how you honour that family member or close friend during the day. So what are the most meaningful ways during a wedding to honour a loved one who's passed away?
So I give my couples a choice. I offer them either a prayer if they are religious. If they are not, then I always say that they can honour them either by lighting a candle or by having a memory table, or they can have an empty chair with a rose or the person's favourite flower on that chair, that I've also known them to put a photo of the person on the chair.
And how can couples honour more than one loved one without the tribute becoming overwhelming?
So what I do is at the top of the ceremony is I say a small sentence that has been agreed with the couple, and I mention the names of the people. So I will say, we would also like to pause to remember whoever the couple's family members are, who we know that are here supporting this couple on their journey forward.
And in the case where one of the couple has lost a very close family member, so perhaps a parent, and they are concerned that they're going to feel over emotional, including any tribute, are there any tips that you can give to those couples?
I think a great tip is if they have a very small cameo photo. So a cameo photo that will hang from the bride's bouquet, or a cameo photo that will hang from a groom's watch. If he has a watch on a fob, that can hang from there. And that is very, very a lovely thing to do.
So that's keeping the person very close to them without necessarily needing for it to be raised as people pausing to think about them, or having an empty chair at the table.
Yes. I've also seen where one bride, her father died, I think it was 2 months before the ceremony, and he had a particular favourite maker of shirts. And so all of the groomsmen wore a shirt from that particular brand. And I also went out and bought a shirt and wore the shirt as well. So when the bride came down, we were all dressed in her father's favourite shirts.
That's a really nice tribute. And it's these personal touches that really help couples just feel that they really are honouring the person that is missing from the day and would have wanted to be there. Is it appropriate to honour a close friend or a pet in the same way as a family member? Are you seeing that at all?
Yes, absolutely. I actually have a wedding coming up that will be that. A bride is honoring her best friend, and her best friend's color is red. And so what she is doing is having a ribbon tied around the base of her bouquet in red, and then everybody will know that it's honoring her best friend.
That's nice. And how should couples navigate the situation where family members disagree with their decision to either include or perhaps not include a tribute?
At the end of the day, it is the couple's day, and they should do what they feel most comfortable with. I am always happy to talk to their loved ones that may not agree with the direction that they are going. And that way we can talk it through and I can allay any fears that they may have. Because normally I find that those fears are where they think it will be in an undignified manner. And they just want it to be a dignified ceremony for the couple, but also for the people that are absent. So I always offer to talk to the family members as well to allay their fears.
It's a really good tip there that celebrants are there to make sure the ceremony reflects the couple. And if that
Yes.
means bringing in third parties and stakeholders into the conversation and explaining why a particular element is being included or not included, that is
Yeah.
part of the role of most celebrants are very happy to do that. And having that third party involvement can be
Yeah.
really helpful. And you speak from the point of view,
Yeah.
particularly ceremony, but are you noticing that couples are including tributes at other times as well? So is it just in the ceremony? Is it also in the speeches and the toasts?
Yeah, they are. They are including things like memory walls of photos of their loved ones, and also they are mentioning them in speeches and saying that they know that the person would have loved to have been there, would have loved the day, and in that way they are commemorating them.
And are there particular readings or poems that couples can incorporate into the ceremony that can honour missing guests?
Yes, there are. There are poems about mums. I remember very poignantly a man, a groom who was getting married. He was an only child, and I managed to source for him a poem about a mum who would have loved to have been at the wedding for her son, and the poem spoke as though she was speaking to him and the poem was read by her sister. So that is something else that celebrants will do. We will research and find the exact thing that is needed for that couple in that ceremony.
What about other suppliers? So how do they fit in terms of helping a couple plan a tribute sensitively? How much do you encourage the couple to share of the plans with others? Because, for example, if they have set aside a seat in the ceremony, the last thing you want is for the photographer thinking, this is a really handy position for me to perch for a moment for that perfect shot.
Yeah. So in terms of a photographer, I always speak to them beforehand. If there's an empty seat, I let them know why. If there's a commemoration to a missing family member, I let them know that that will be coming up. Further on in the day, I speak to the musicians and I say, oh, this was the family member's favorite song. Maybe you can slot it in, but with a discussion with the couple beforehand so that they know that it's going to take place. Or if it's even with the caterers, and I might say to them in passing, this was this person's favorite dessert or whatever. And then all of these things can be incorporated so that everybody is happy with the arrangements that have been made.
What common mistakes can couples avoid when they're planning memorial tributes at their wedding?
Don't go in a direction where it's going to make you feel sad on your day. So if you know that a chair on an empty seat is going to make you feel sad, because if you remember, when they get the photos, they will always see that photo with on the empty chair. So if you think that's going to make you sad and every time you see it, don't do that. Always go with something that you think you would be okay with and your family member would also like. And it is a discussion. It's a discussion between you and your partner and your nearest and dearest.
So speaking from your years of working with couples, but also speaking from your heart, a final tip that you would give to couples that are navigating this situation. They've lost somebody before the wedding and want to make sure they're honoured on the wedding day. What would be your top tip to them?
My top tip to them is to mention it right at almost the top of the ceremony. And so you've mentioned it at the top of the ceremony, and then you can settle in to the rest of the day. You can have, like I said before, the memory table or the memory wall, so that people can go and pay their individual tributes. But you know that before the overwhelm of the day, you've mentioned them and commemorated their memory.
That's a really nice tip to end on. Jennifer Patrice, your expertise and knowledge in this topic has been really helpful. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Alison.